Costumes are divine. Costumes are divine. Costumes are divine.
No, 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 no.
Oh, hey guys, look! I'm wearing I'm wearing the armor from the show. Yeah, don't you just love my helmet? Yeah, and now I feel like I'm part of the Witcher Blood origin. Knights. This show, man. Oh my god. They say the costumes look good, but my goodness, they actually look quite cheap. Like, I just got this from my kitchen, and it looks roughly the same as from the show, right? Anyway, let's break down episode 3 of The Witcher Blood Origin, which is, to me, laughably bad and mediocre at best. The episode starts with our character, the dwarf, just popping out of nowhere. How did she end up bumping into our main cast of characters? Don't know. It just happens because the script requires it to happen. And then she says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Come with me if you want to live.
I didn't know that she was a huge fan of the Terminator.
Come with me if you want to live.
Then she proceeds to say that Gwen told her that the main characters are special. Yeah, she is talking to her hammer, and her hammer is giving her advice on who she should be helping. This dwarf lady is crazy. Then the next weird thing happens where the dwarf takes our main characters to a cave, and the cave looks all set up like she's been living there for a while, and this makes me wonder. You see, in the previous episode, they didn't tell us where she came from, who she is. They just dropped her in front of us. So this makes you wonder: is this her home? Is this a place that she just migrated to? And if not, you're telling me that she lives here. That means that it's very contrived that she just happens to live nearby to where our main characters happened to appear when the episode begins. Like, it's such a coincidence and very convenient that they end up popping just near where this dwarf lives, huh? Then this Mohawk guy says,
"Why don't we poison a sheep and feed it to it?"
He pitches the idea that they should try and poison some sheep so that the monster can come and eat this sheep and die. Like seriously. Even dog clan elf guy, he even face palms. He's like, what the fuck is this rationale? Because if you poison the sheep will be dead and the monster will not want to eat them. So what the hell are you talking about? What I find weird about this plan of theirs, they talk about, I need you to go get the heart of the monster that was chasing them in episode 2, so that they use it to create the next Witcher. It seems like a very random process. I mean, all they had to do was go to the monolith, beat some guards, go in, find a monster randomly, and then come back out. You're telling me that there's no other magician or wizard of this universe who would have ever gone to the monolith, opened it, gone inside, found a random creature, and come back out with it? I actually googled how are witches made, and it says here on the Witcher wiki online, it says that taken in as children, witches to be are subjected to intense alchemical processes, consumption of mutagenic compounds, and relentless physical and magical training to make them dangerous and highly versatile against their vast array of opponents, many of which possess human speed, strength, and or other deadly powers. Which means that this show is not going to do that. It does its own thing, which makes the whole Witcher thing just seems very cheap and weightless. As I said, mediocre. Then they have this one scene where Daenerys Targaryen and Daemon Marley are crying, and I could care less because I don't know anything about their characters. They're basically just spouting exposition about how they've tried creating some monster before, or transforming, I don't know, their mother or something. And I'm like, I don't care because you haven't built these characters. So when you have all this emotion on screen, I could care less. And then she ends up saying, maybe I should just let the world end.
Maybe I should just let the world end.
What is up with the women in this show just trying to kill everything? The princess chick, she killed her relatives. We have the dwarf who said, she should have just let the main characters be eaten by the monster. It was Gwen the Hammer who told her that they are special, and yet Gwen, the Hammer has the ashes of her lover in there. So I'm like, you're talking to your ashes, the ashes of your lover, and they told you that they are special.
You serious?
Oh my god. Then they cut to this one scene where the mage that our princess is working with, you see him walking around the room looking for this artifact that Black Gandalf uses to, I don't know, open vortexes or portals to the other world. And I'm like, he's a mage, right? He should be able to use some magic or something to be able to find it, instead of just randomly just whoops stepping on some floorboard and then it creaks and then he knows, this is where to find it. It seems very weird, and I don't know, like the script just, we need a character to do this, so just find the cheapest way to do it. We cut back to our lovely, strong black female character, and she says how it's her destiny to become, the first Witcher, and then she says, all my songs are sung.
Fial, all my songs are sung.
And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean all my songs are sung? We've only seen you singing the Black Rose song. Oh, she sang them off screen. Makes total sense. Makes total sense. Then they are ready to do the process of creating the first Witcher. And my question is, why don't they just do it immediately? No, they don't end up doing it immediately. Strong female character, strong black female character, ends up saying that she wants a wake. A wake. So if you Google the term wake, I'm pretty sure the term wake says that, yes, it's a ceremony that happens before or after, death. But typically in a wake, you have a body present. So this is just a reason for them to party. And I'm like, you could have just said you want to party. There's no need for you to say that you necessarily need a wake. The term wake is misused here. The dwarf is talking to the Mohawk guy, and she ends up saying, if you fell into a bucket of tits, you'd end up coming out with a cock.
If you fell into a bucket of tits, you'd come about in a cock.
First of all, atrocious dialogue. But second of all, I know she's trying to say that the dude is unlucky, but the number of dick jokes this woman cracks, even in the previous episode, like I pointed it out in my breakdown, she keeps cracking jokes about dicks. I don't know what is the obsession of this show with dicks. And then Dog Clan dude ends up telling them that there is no secret entrance to the castle. They're just going to go through the front gate. And Michelle Yeoh ends up saying this.
Every time I think I've suffered the last fool, another lands in front of me.
Yeah, that line was, I'm pretty sure it was actually dedicated to the directors, the plot, and the screenwriters of this story, because she's like, my God, I've had enough of this stupidity. Then Black Gandalf walks into his room, walks into the mage, the one who's helping the princess. He walks into his room and confronts him about how he stole his artifact, and then something very weird happens. Black Gandalf throws this dude onto the wall, right? And then in literally the next frame, I have not edited this, the next frame, this dude was on the wall, and then in the next frame, he's right next to Black Gandalf, and then he's being thrown to the corner. I'm like, what is this editing mistake? There was a huge error here. He was on the wall. Then in the next frame, he's near Black Gandalf, and then he throws him to the wall. And then this is the next thing that is funny. He tells him, I'm going to, he threatens to throw him off the balcony. And you wonder why he's using his hands. We just came from seeing you throw him using telekinesis. Use the telekinesis. Why are you using your hands? Just throw him off the balcony. You just did it right now, using telekinesis to throw him to the wall. Then the weirdest thing happens. Eredin, the princess, they show back up into the room with the apprentice of Black Gandalf in chains. So you're telling me that between the time that Black Gandalf threw this dude to the wall and then threw him to the balcony, which is like 3 seconds in the actual video, Eredin and the princess had time to go find the apprentice, put her in chains, and then run back to the room. in those 3 seconds that Black Gandalf threw this dude to the wall and then back to the balcony. The editing is also very bad here. Then we cut back to our dwarf lady who says,
She was the fairest dwarf you ever did see. Big baps. Fine silken beard, too. Jealous of it, I was. I can no more sprout a hair on my chin than a king can wipe his own ass.
she's talking about she could not grow a hair like the way her lover used to, and she couldn't do it the way kings do not wipe their own asses. First of all, I'm pretty sure kings wipe their own asses. I'm pretty sure they wipe their own asses, otherwise how do they shit? But if it's not meant to be taken literally, that shows you how bad the dialogue is. It's trying to become, it's becoming worse than Rings of Power type similes. Rings of Power had similes. Is it similes or metaphors such as sweep them across the land like salt from a table? You're like, nobody even talks like this. I don't know why. And I know you're going to say it's fantasy, but the dialogue is just very bad in this show. Then dwarf character proceeds to give a backstory of how some elven soldiers attacked Gwen back in the day when she went off hunting. She went off hunting and then came back and found Gwen had been attacked, meaning that she never even saw who the person was that attacked Gwen specifically. So basically she went after all those soldiers by herself. That small lady went after all those elven soldiers by herself. They're trying to tell you how badass she is. You're telling me that she went after all those soldiers by herself and none of them retaliated, none of them attempted to fight back or go on like a revenge mission against her to retaliate or something. Then she tells you that to make her hammer, she mined ore.
Up in the Corrith Mountains and mined myself some fine ore. Smelted it down and added my sweet Gwen's ashes to it.
She mined ore and then she smelted it down. She's a one-woman mining company, this lady. She's Madame Awesome. Just like the female black character, written as Madame Awesome, being perfect and good at everything. And then Mohawk guy tries to narrate his story and the dwarf lady ends up sleeping. You see, even the show knows how boring it is when their own characters end up talking. Then we cut back to my favorite scene, where you get to see the princess in her armor. It looks like a fucking joke because her armor looks like a bunch of metal seashells. The design is so bad, and yet they were telling you in the marketing material how good the costumes are. There's a scene where they actually show you the princess on her throne, and the throne just looks like something carved out of someone's living room. Oh my god. Then they cut back to the scene where they're trying to make the first Witcher, and you see Elf Boy over here resisting the process. He's resisting the process, and yet he was told it's going to be painful, so I don't know why he's doing, please don't pour it down my throat. He was told it's going to be painful, and he volunteered. He volunteered voluntarily, so I don't understand why he's resisting. Then he ends up dying in quotes. And then he wakes back up and voila, you have the first Witcher. First of all, I don't know why you had to pretend like he's gone for 2 seconds. They could have just let the scene breathe and let us actually believe that he's dead. But no, because he's the main character, he comes back in 2 seconds. And then I remember there was this scene where the black strong lady is crying or pretending to cry, and the face she makes, it's like someone farted in the room. The acting is very bad. Isn't it odd how the preparation for the Witcher thing took like, I don't know, a whole hour, but the actual making of the Witcher took like 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure previously in the episode, the lady who looks like Daenerys Targaryen said that the procedure will be long and making the Witcher will take a long time, probably the whole night. But the preparation took maybe an hour, and then the actual process of making the Witcher took like maybe 15 minutes. So very mediocre, very mediocre. Then we cut to more bad dialogue when the dwarf lady says, I know why I call those monoliths cock towers.
Know why I call those monoliths cock towers.
I swear if this woman makes one more references to dicks or private parts, I swear this show. Then they have this one heartfelt scene where she's trying to explain why she needs to go with them on the journey to go and attack the princess's castle, and she ends up saying, because I'm empty. And something emotional. They tried here to build her, but it feels already too late. She's like a caricature of character. She's been portrayed as being perfect at everything, and she's able to just whoop everyone in her path, and she's been talking to her hammer, so she's kind of nuts, and here she is, they're trying now to build her as an emotional character. It's already too late, you know. Then they show this scene where they have Michelle Yeoh talking to the princess, and you see her crown. It looks fake as fuck. Like, they didn't even bother even to get jewels that look like actual jewels. It looks like something you'd go to a con man's store and pick for like $5. We cut to this scene where Dog Elf and Black Strong character end up having wiggity wiggity with each other, and Dog Elf guy ends up saying, "I die for you." And I'm thinking to myself, you two are such underwritten characters, your romance is not believable to me at all. We cut to this scene where the princess is now talking to Black Gandalf, and the one thing I realized about this scene is Black Gandalf's apprentice is doing modern sign language. Black Gandalf's apprentice is doing modern sign language, and I'm wondering why. We cut to Michelle Yeoh returning back to our main characters, and if you look carefully, there's something wrong with the horse on the left side. Is that even a real horse? Is it even moving? I don't think it's a real horse, to be honest with you. And then they have this weird editing mistake where Michelle Yeoh... let me just play it for you right here.
Scouts are ahead.
They have this weird editing mistake where they have Michelle Yeoh just show up next to the horse, and then in the next frame she looks like she stopped a few feet away from the horse, and a few frames later you actually look at the horse again and it doesn't look like it's moving. I think they CGI'd a fake horse into the frame. I don't think that's a real horse. It's not moving. Yeah, that horse in the background looks very odd. I think it may either be a toy horse, like a large wooden horse, or CGI'd there lazily. I'm definitely starting to think that, because it hasn't moved at all during the entire scene. Michelle Yeoh looks at strong female character, the black one, and yeah, I have to specify which one because all the female characters here are strong. But she ends up asking her, "You're still the same?" And then strong black female character says, "Well, it wasn't the procedure wasn't being done on me, it was being done on the other elf guy, and when he pops up he looks the same. So what do you mean? Were you expecting him to look different? Here he looks exactly the same. The only thing that they've done differently is they've changed his eyes, that's all." They're getting ready to go invade the castle, and then the show has the audacity to show you that dwarf being God. They end up getting surrounded by some soldiers, and these soldiers think that they are 300. Please, you're not 300. Stop it. A strong black female character says, "Don't let them get behind us."
Don't let them get behind us.
But as you can clearly see in this frame, their flanks are quite open. By flanks I mean sides. The sides are completely open for them to be able to be attacked from the side. So that's a very bad strategy you're talking about. I actually took the time to count these soldiers, and they are not 50. Michelle Yeoh's character said that I need 50 characters. These soldiers are not 50. If you count them whenever you have the time. They are not 50. They're actually about 35 to 40. So yeah, so much for that. The budget for this show, I don't know where it went. They have this fight scene that is incredibly bad. There are so many cuts. Even when Michelle Yeoh's character throws a spear, there has to be a cut. Then there's this incredibly bad part where this dwarf is fighting 3 men. Look at, just watch it right here. These guys jump in front of her. I don't know what they are trying to do. One of them tries to swipe at her and he's aiming badly. Look at the guy on the left hand side. What is he doing? As his friend is getting attacked, he's doing nothing. And then he swipes his sword. I don't know where he's aiming really. She's very short, so I don't know where you're trying to hit. And there are so many cuts. The only way that she ends up beating these guys is through the power of editing, I swear. The dwarf ends up shooting 2 arrows at the same time, and then she ends up hitting targets that are incredibly far away. Ah, my goodness gracious. You're telling me that she had 2 arrows together, then she let them go. They split mid-air and hit their mark correctly. I know it's fantasy, but come on, that's not how physics works. Then the strong black female character ends up wearing armor that is from a man probably twice his size, and it fits her perfectly. The show has no fucking logic, and I keep wondering, when they were just about to make Dog Clan guy into a Witcher, they said this.
And if you do survive the ritual, you'll probably lose who you are completely.
They said that you're going to lose yourself completely. Every part of you is going to change. But as we can clearly see, Dog Clan elf guy is still the same good dude. I mean, his personality is still the same. The only thing that changed about him is his eyes. So I don't know what you mean by he's going to be totally erased and changed. The armor in this show is laughable. It looks like something from cosplay. It doesn't look like real armor. And we are remaining with one more episode. The show is still awful, in my opinion. But I'd like to know your thoughts. If you've watched it, smash like and subscribe. I've persevered enough. I'll see you in the next one.